All right, let's get into it. Today we are cracking open a true classic for anyone even thinking about trading, Tony Turner's A Beginner's Guide to Short-Term Trading. What we're going to do is pull out the absolute core wisdom of this book, not just the how-to, but really the mindset you need to even survive in the wild world of the stock market.
And this quote? It's the perfect place to start. Turner doesn't describe the market as some cold mathematical machine. No, she frames it as a relationship, a really intense, emotional, and stormy romance. And just like any big romance, it's packed with passion, a ton of drama, and a whole lot of risk. So, how did this crazy love affair even start? What is it about the market that just pulls so many of us in? It promises fortunes, it fuels our biggest dreams. It's a story of seduction, really, and one that has grown into a total national obsession.
Turner's description of the market here is just so spot on. It's like a fickle lover. One day, it's showering you with gifts, rewarding every single move you make. The next, it's hostile, cruel, and completely unforgiving. It might go up on terrible news and tank on great news. And the most important thing to get is, it's unpredictable, and it absolutely does not care about you or your feelings. And honestly, that's what makes it so thrilling and so incredibly dangerous.
This romance used to be a very exclusive affair. Back in the 60s, Wall Street was basically a private club for the rich and powerful. But then, along came the internet, and it completely changed the game. The first at-home trading software in the mid-80s, that cracked the door open. The online commission price wars in the late 90s, that blew the door right off its hinges. And now anybody with a smartphone can walk right onto the trading floor from their living room.
And this is the ultimate seduction, isn't it? It's the dream of a totally different kind of life. A life where you have total freedom, where you call all the shots. No boss looking over your shoulder, no commute, zero office drama. It's just you, your computer, and this incredible potential to achieve real financial independence, to buy that dream house, pay for college, or just live life on your own terms. It is a powerful, powerful vision.
Okay, but after the sweet talk and the seduction comes the reality check. That romance can turn into an all-out battle real fast. So now we're leaving the love story behind, and we are walking into what Turner calls the Wall Street Zoo. And this right here is a massive dose of reality. The market does not take prisoners. This is not some get-rich-quick fantasy. It's a brutal battlefield where for every single winner, there is a loser. So if you jump in with no plan, no education, and no discipline, you're basically walking onto that battlefield completely unarmed. You are just setting yourself up to fail. So who exactly are you up against on this battlefield? Turner breaks it down into 4 classic animal types. First, you've got your bulls. They're optimistic, they buy, and they make money when the market goes up. Then you've got the bears. They're pessimistic, they sell short, and they make money when the market goes down. See a pattern here? Both the bulls and the bears can make money. The ones who always lose? That's the sheep, who just blindly follow the herd with no strategy, and the pigs, who let pure greed and impatience dictate every move they make. This old Wall Street saying just sums it all up perfectly. Success in this game isn't about being an optimist or a pessimist. It's about having a plan and sticking to it. The real enemy isn't some other trader or the market itself. It's your own unchecked emotions. Greed makes you hold on too long, and impatience makes you jump into terrible trades. And both of them are a one-way ticket to getting slaughtered.
So let's dig a little deeper into that psychological battlefield. Because really, if you want to understand the market, you first have to understand human nature. And at its very core, the market is ruled by 2 primal, incredibly powerful, and totally opposite emotions: greed and fear. These 2 are the puppet masters pulling almost all the strings. Greed is that feeling that makes you buy a stock after it has already skyrocketed because you've got FOMO. It's that little voice whispering, just a little more profit right before the price collapses. And fear? Oh, fear is what causes you to panic and sell everything you own at the absolute worst possible moment, right at the bottom. It's what paralyzes you when there are amazing opportunities, and it's also what makes you hold on to a losing stock because you're too afraid to take the loss. And look, these emotions aren't just abstract feelings. They are the literal fuel for the market's engine, which is supply and demand. When traders get greedy, demand goes through the roof and prices soar. When they get fearful, everyone scrambles to sell, supply swamps demand, and prices just plummet. Every single price chart you will ever look at is just a picture of this timeless battle between the 2. This quote from the legendary trader Jesse Livermore is probably one of the toughest but most essential lessons you'll ever learn.
You can have the best research, the most brilliant argument for why a stock should be going up, but if the market decides to go down, guess what? The market is right and you are wrong. Period. You cannot argue with it. You can't bend it to your will. All you can do is learn to shut up, listen to what it's telling you, and adapt.
Okay, so we've talked about the romance, the brutal battlefield, the psychological traps. I know, it sounds pretty daunting. So what's the antidote? How in the world do you actually survive this? The answer is surprisingly simple. You stop treating it like a trip to the casino and you start treating it like a serious business.
And that is the absolute key. The market itself is pure chaos. It doesn't have rules that are there to protect you or guarantee your success. So that means you have to bring your own rules to the fight. You create a plan, you set strict rules for when you'll buy and when you'll sell, and then you build the discipline to actually follow those rules, especially when your emotions are screaming at you to do the exact opposite. You have to impose your order onto the market's chaos.
And that structure, it starts with a really basic business plan. First, you've got to be brutally honest with yourself about how much time you can actually commit. Second, and this is the big one, it's non-negotiable. Only trade with money you can genuinely afford to lose. Trading with what they call scared money, like your rent money or tuition money, is a guaranteed way to make terrible, fear-based decisions. Third, set up a dedicated workspace, free of distractions. And finally, pick a broker that actually fits your trading style. These are the foundational steps to acting like a pro.
So we've covered the nature of the market, and we've covered the need for a plan. But this last piece of the puzzle, it's the most important one of all. It's what really separates the winners from everyone else. And it's not about finding some secret stock-picking formula. It's all about building a winning mindset.
Turner tells this amazing story in the book. Picture this. Centuries ago in Thailand, a group of monks had to move this giant ancient Buddhist statue made of clay. But as they were moving it, it got a crack in it. One of the monks peeked inside the crack and saw something glittering. So they started to carefully chip away at the clay, and they discovered that hidden underneath this plain, worthless-looking exterior was a magnificent, solid gold Buddha that had been protected for hundreds of years.
And that story, that is the final and most powerful lesson. We are all that golden Buddha. Inside every one of us, there's a potential for incredible discipline, patience, and success. But for most of us, it's covered up by layers and layers of clay, our fears, our bad habits, our greed, our self-doubt. The real journey of a successful trader isn't about finding some hidden treasure out in the market. It's an internal journey. It's about chipping away at your own weaknesses to reveal the disciplined, golden trader that's already inside of you.
And that's the real challenge that Turner leaves us with. The market is always going to be a battlefield, sure, but the most important battle is the one you're going to fight with yourself. So the question isn't really, can you beat the market? The question is, are you ready to start doing the work on yourself? Are you ready to start chipping?